I know you guys are accustomed to having him in the chat with you, but today, especially since we're talking about Star Trek Prodigy, my pod buddy Clarence from Discussing Trek podcast is coming to join me today. So say hello, Mr. Brown.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
I get here. Okay, yep, I got you now. So Lysandra says, hello, Clarence. How are you?
Hey, Lysandra, how you doing?
All right, I got my pod buddy here now. I guess we can
Yeah,
get this thing going.
yeah. Don't let me interrupt your flow. Just do your thing. I'm just listening in.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna I ain't got you here just for your pretty face. You're gonna have something to add to this thing, I'm pretty sure. Uh Star Trek Prodigy, episode 3, Starstruck. Now, I'm not gonna go into this whole breakdown because none of my Trekkies are here right now, and Lysandra is probably out there like, "What? She a Star Wars person? Was this episode for you more like classic Trek?"
Um, Not necessarily. I feel like they're still putting a lot of groundwork into where the show is going to go. When you heard Kate Mulgrew talk about the show, she talked about it being a teaching tool and being a way to onboard young people onto Star Trek. And that's kind of what I felt with this episode. We got a lot of good backstory about the Federation, teamwork, um, a little bit of that utopian, moneyless future that we hear
Yeah.
about in Star Trek. So yeah, I definitely feel like it was setting the groundwork for new people and going forward for the show.
And now for me, I felt like it could have held up on any Trek series. The dilemma. So the dilemma
Yes,
that we
yes.
found ourselves in, it was classic. Of course, you don't have the pushback that you got from this little ragtag crew of uh of characters, but I'm looking at it like this could have been on any Star Trek show. It would have held its own. I think, of course, this it's its own thing. It is independent of Star Trek, but it fits so well into the universe.
Yeah, and there was also messages in there about trust and we can see that Dal has some authority issues, or
Yeah,
maybe just he trusted the wrong person at some point. It seems like
and that's what I'm saying. I think his experiences have obviously made him pessimistic,
yes, one
and
hundred
he
percent.
uh he feels like he's heard all this before.
Yeah,
Everything that Janeway hologram Janeway says, he feel like he heard it all before. He doesn't. He ain't buying it.
yeah. What did you think about the design? We got to see a little bit more of the ship. We got to
Oh
see the
my gosh!
brig, the captain's quarters, as well as the mess hall and engineering.
And that was what like blew me. It was like we got two
Yeah,
warp cores, and what is that other thing?
yeah, they're setting up something there for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, they wouldn't have introduced it. You just whole Chekhov's gun thing. You don't bring it in the first act if we're not going to explain it somewhere down the line and use it. So that did excite me. I'm like, okay, now we got a whole new. Okay, we got the spore drive on Discovery. We got a whole new system in this Protostar,
Yeah,
which kind of might bridge those. Well, I don't want to call it a bridge because now it would be a bridge because Discovery is in the future, but it wouldn't have
yeah,
been a bridge before. So
yeah.
I'm still I'm very I'm curious as to what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the interior of the ship feels very much like Discovery. It looks like Discovery in a lot of ways,
Hmm.
and I appreciated that. Also, we get this vehicle replicator thing, which was new for me.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
and yeah, that was something different, and I had never heard of it, but I had put it in my mind like, well, when maybe I've seen it before and I just forgot. But if
Yeah,
you're saying it looked new to you too,
yeah, I haven't seen it, so yeah.
okay. Then we find out that Rock has very little life experience outside of that prison world, or what is it called? Do you remember Tars Lamora? What
Tars
is
Lamora, yeah,
That's it? Okay.
yeah.
So like, where do you think that arc is going? Is
I feel sad for her.
Oh yeah, it broke my heart that all she knew was that little nasty food or whatever it was that she had.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's sort of like the thing they talk about the animals when you remove the fence, they don't leave out the fence, sort of.
yeah.
She could have any food, but that's all
She,
she knew.
but she don't
So
even know no other food. She didn't even know
yeah,
what to ask for.
yeah, that's very sad. So I don't know where her character is going personally, but I do tend to gravitate toward those characters that have that room for that full growth. I mean,
Yes, she's a blank slate. That's what I
yeah,
like about her. She's like
yeah,
a true to life blank slate. She doesn't have the only thing that she. Let me stop myself because it was Gwen. Now she's a blank slate, but she ain't no pushover.
yeah, that's true. That's true. She had
And
that fight at the end. Yeah,
yeah, besides that, she asked the question that so many shows and so many characters over so many years have never asked, and that's why you didn't help us. why
yeah,
why didn't you help us? Why did you let us suffer like that? And
yes.
it called her to the carpet.
And it was one other point in the episode where hologram Janeway was talking about the principles of the Federation, and she said equality, and Rock Talk was like, "Oh, equality, that sounds cool."
Yeah, I bet you it does when you've been living on a
Indentured servitude.
right. Shoot, yeah, quality sound real cool. Um, so we have, like you said, we've got some nuggets, some seeds being laid for where our characters are going. I feel like look at Reinhardt. Reinhardt said, "Hold up, I got Tasha and Clarence. Oh yeah."
What's up, Reinhardt?
So now I don't. You Reinhardt, you always do this. God, I forgot what I was saying. I did forget. Oh, we were talking about the arcs. So the
Yeah,
the seeds for these arcs have been laid for several of the characters. Um, we talked about Dow's experiences and how they've made him pessimistic. Talk about Rock having very little experience outside of the prison camp, and Gwen. Now that she's learned the truth, and does she believe Rock first and foremost? Does she believe that her father lied to her? These people were not criminals. They are really they've been kidnapped and put on this planet. So does she believe her? And do you think it'll make a difference in Gwen moving forward?
well, I definitely think she believes her. I feel like even from that part in the previous episodes when they were talking to the Kazon, and they
Mhm.
got the Cation, the cat girl.
I'm so glad you said the name because I got something about her and I'm like, how do you even say this species? So thank you, Cation.
But yeah, I feel like even then she's kind of questioning what's going on. When her and Dreadnought were talking to the Kazon about how he acquired the new
That little,
individual.
yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like she was kind of in the middle already, but of course that's her father, so she's gonna go along with it for the most part. But I
But
feel
is
like a
he,
change is coming for her.
yeah, yeah. And is he really her father? Is he really her daddy?
Well, they say progeny, and they are the same race. We got a good look at Solemn today, so maybe.
And I'm okay. So is her being able to speak all of these different languages, is that something that is just inherent to her, or does is he able to do that as well?
it I feel like it may be a part of the race.
Okay.
I really feel like it, and also we got the nugget that Zero couldn't read her mind as well. So maybe there's more
Oh
to
yeah.
their race going on that we know right now. Yeah,
Okay. Since we talked about Zero, is okay. He's a Medusan.
yeah.
We got that in the original series. Weren't Medusans like these great navigators?
I don't even remember Medusans, so that was
Well, let
new
me
to
tell you, it
me.
was that it was one episode, and I don't, I want to say it's in the later seasons,
This
and
is
he,
TOS.
huh,
Just TOS. You said
yeah, original series
okay.
with Spock was the only person who could lay eyes on this thing because it was I know Reinhardt, I know you gonna have something to say in a minute. Go ahead and get your thoughts ready. But Spock was the only person who wouldn't completely lose his mind if he looked at this Cation. I mean, not the Cation, the Medusa,
Mm-hmm.
and he, I thought, helped him navigate out of some type of system.
Huh.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I need
So
to go
I'm,
back and research that one. I didn't. I don't remember
yeah,
that
I
one.
need to look that up myself. Sometimes I think I know what I think I know. I thought the Medusans were that type of race.
Yeah, and we also get even Zero doesn't know why Solemn or the Diviner wants this ship so bad. I mean, they bring that up in this episode as well. Like, why does
Why
he want
this
this
ship?
ship? And again, like we talked about before, the chamber and the engineering, there's something going on with that.
Yeah, that's something ain't right. That's a entirely different system. That whatever that is, that's in there. First of all, the two warp cores
Yes,
was kind
that's
of,
cool.
yeah, and then we got this other thing, and that's probably the draw because that's the only thing that's truly different from any other starship we've seen. I mean, this dual engine thing is
Yeah,
something, but
yeah.
but the fact that that little device with that star in it is there, then I think he does. That's what makes him want.
Yeah. Uh, Also, the fact that the Federation is sending this ship to the Delta Quadrant. Now, in the last podcast, I actually got this wrong, but we have talked about it before that there is precedent for that with the Prometheus. I forget which episode of Voyager it was. The episode with Andy Dick in it. I can't remember which one it was. But they did send the Prometheus toward the Delta Quadrant for Voyager to try to intercept Voyager. So there is precedent, but it seemed like when hologram Janeway was awakened, she was expecting some other crew.
Yeah,
So there's a lot more story that we haven't gotten yet that seems pretty interesting.
I'm so excited about this because this is like a fresh take on these like classic dilemmas that we've
Yeah,
seen in other forms of Trek, but we're getting some pushback. In other forms of Trek, people just followed the orders, and we're getting a little pushback from this particular crew. So, do we think that at some point the crew is going to upend Dow?
I don't think so because I don't think any of the rest of them are competent enough, other than Gwen. Now, of course,
Confident? Yeah, okay.
yeah, Gwen could do it, but I don't think they trust her enough to follow her. So I think his position as acting captain is in safe hands for now.
He
Anyway.
just, yeah, but it's like he's gonna learn. Of course, we know that Mama Janeway is gonna gather
Yeah.
them and get them all together. But I'm still like he's obviously selfish.
Yeah, he
He's
is. Yeah.
obviously selfish. He's very hard headed, which is okay because I don't blame him for being hard headed. If I was in the position at his young age
Yeah.
that he's in, I'd be a bit hard headed too. Janeway has made some strides in gaining their trust by helping them out of this jam because the whole show could have been real short if they'd have winning that star.
Yeah, and I love how cheeky she is with them. She's kind of
Oh,
just letting them. She's not forcing them to do anything.
right.
She's letting him and the crew come to that realization themselves, which I think is very good. And it's a kid show. That's a lesson on
Yep.
learning how to cope with authority and all those other things that kids deal
When to
with.
ask for help. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
know when to
definitely.
ask for help. When the gravity get the what do they call it, the anti-gravity, when that got shut off and everybody
Yeah,
slammed and Janeway was still standing straight. Was
yeah,
that dope?
that was
Or
good. That was. And then they had the reverse aspect on the camera, so they
yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
yeah,
she's still standing, hair perfect.
yeah. And I just loved all the crew interaction on the bridge because so there's this wow, what is the name of the Star Trek game? There's a Star Trek game where you can go in and each person kind of has a station, engineering captain, and that's sort of the dilemma you have, and it's been the dilemma on Starfleet ships since we've known of it's a give and take, push and pull. Oh, we can raise shields, but this, weapons might not be 100%. And they had
Right.
they had that whole balance thing going on, which I found very interesting.
Yeah. Because once that she started using
vehicle.
vehicle replicator.
Yeah.
When she
Yeah.
started using that vehicle replicator, we saw how it was draining even some of the ship systems. I thought, yeah, they did an outstanding job. Um, I'm upset because it's like we're getting what we could have gotten out of Lower Decks with this
Yeah.
episode, with this series, and it's proven that you can make a Star Trek adjacent show. It is still Star Trek, but we don't have to bam each other over the head with the knowledge that this is Star Trek. This is Star Trek. We know it's Star Trek. You don't have to prove it to us.
Yeah.
And this show is proven that you don't have to name drop anybody. The only relic from the past is what is her name? Janeway.
Yeah.
So I think they've got this whole fresh approach, and I like it.
Yeah, and two other things real quick.
Go ahead.
I loved when we got that when she was explaining the Federation again. One of my favorite parts of the episode. We get this graphic, and we see the Defiant. We see the regular Enterprise and Enterprise D. We see the Voyager. We also see another ship that I couldn't name, but we also see Discovery in there, or a Discovery class ship. I'm like,
Really?
they no one is supposed to know about the Discovery,
Right. I
right?
was gonna say how.
Yeah,
That's different, but I didn't pay attention.
yeah.
And I
It was
watched it like twice.
yeah. Oh, that was my other point too. I feel like these episodes are even better. Like both of the two parter and this one, I enjoyed it more when I watched it again.
Yep.
So that goes a little bit to how these are gonna stand up down the line, because I just feel like they're great in every aspect.
Yep. They stand alone as their own thing, and they are so rewatchable.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you tell me what you rate this episode first.
You know what? It, this might be considered a filler episode in some aspects, because we didn't really go anywhere. We kind of went toward this, dying star, and we had an adventure there, which I liked. And again, we don't even know where the series is going to go overall. So I'll give it a 4.2. Um,
Okay.
I still very much enjoyed it, but I'm since I rated the last one a 5, I'm going to try to give it room to grow in a sense.
Yeah. I this time we were actually in the same ballpark. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And for the same reasons. I really, as a standalone episode, I do believe it's a 5. It's how it's gonna fit in the greater story.
Yeah.
And we're looking like we're gonna get a whole lot of episodes that could stand alone, but that they also tie together. Like it's those the shows that remind me of DS9, where yep, when I feel like just watching DS9, I can just roulette, pick an episode and watch it. But if I had some time today, I can watch 10 episodes and you can get this greater story. And it looks like that's where we're going with Prodigy.
Yeah, and it's also like I don't know if you remember cartoons from the 80s and early 90s, but if it was GI
Damn, I
Joe, we
mean, you
have
think that my memory look? It ain't been that long ago, Clarence. Shit.
but a lot of cartoons, they would always have that message at the end of
Message.
and knowing is
Yeah.
half the battle, that
Yeah.
type of
Joe,
thing.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, so I feel like we're getting that in this. They're not just explicitly coming out and saying it, but I kind
Hmm.
of feel like that's where we're gonna go. Like at the end of each episode, we're gonna have a
It's
little nugget of something for the kids
for the
watching.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something for the kids. Because, yeah, just like you said, I mean, they did it with He-Man. They did it with every
Yes.
cartoon back then. So I guess, yeah, we when you look at it, they're taking a blueprint from what worked on other animated shows. It seems like they have taken a lot of care in learning Trek lore and Trek without beating us over the head with it.
Yes. Yes.
And they understand their audience, now who their intended audience is. And outside of that, though, they know some of us are going to be watching.
Yes.
And it looks
Yes.
like they care about the franchise, and that's all. It's coming from if it's coming from a place of love, I'm down with it. and it makes me wonder, uh, what the hell is going on with Lower Decks? Why is that? Why is that the way it is? If if this series in these little 3 episodes, if it can do what it's doing without being obnoxious, why is Lower Decks a thing? This was an improved season, but still they played with us a little too long. Now you got competition, and now you want to show your ass.
Well, that's the thing. I'm wondering if when Lower Decks comes back, will it be slightly different? I do feel like there's a bit of rivalry now between the two animated
Sibling
series.
rivalry.
Yeah, because when we had the Star Trek Day a few months back, well, it was in September, Jerry O'Donnell hosted the Prodigy panel, and I could just tell there was a little bit of you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, they were talking about how beautiful it looked and everything, and people were just kind of swooning over that, and you got Lower Decks over here, Which, I don't know. We'll see what
I
happens.
guess we will. I guess we will.